The South Durban Community Environmental Alliance and the Ukrainian Association of South Africa is marching to demand leaders who are gathered at the BRICS Summit to order Russia to remove its military forces from Ukraine. Newzroom Afrika's Nobuhle Modise following that story for us. Nobuhle, good morning to you once again. And so the demands quite clear, but importantly though, for the people who are conducting this march, is there optimism that their voices will land on favorable ears?
So we heard earlier the Ukrainian Association of South Africa not only calling on those world leaders who come to attend the 15th BRICS Summit, to call on the Russian President Vladimir Putin to stop the military aggression in Ukraine. They're also saying that the South African government, or Cyril Ramaphosa himself, hasn't fully condemned, the war crimes that are currently happening in Ukraine. And so they are supporting this march, which is essentially led by the South Durban Community Environmental Alliance, and they say whilst they're also calling on the same things, they also have other concerns, especially regarding the environmental impact of those deals that will be signed at the BRICS Summit, for example, saying that while they welcome the job creation and the positive aspects that some of those talks they come with, they also do have quite a few concerns about why it is that some of the environmental aspects are not being discussed around the opportunities that are going to be brought by the 15th BRICS Summit. I have with me Mr. Desmond Desar, who is an activist for the South Durban Community Environmental Alliance, and I just want him to speak to us about what their concerns are regarding the BRICS Summit.
Our major concern is that the BRICS is a top-down approach, and the BRICS hasn't been consulted fully with every citizen of this country. And we saw, just like the apartheid government at the crossover, people were consulted throughout this country to bring about change. And same thing with BRICS. There's no consultation. We are concerned about the land and our common waters, where the BRICS countries are being destructive and wanting to move thousands of people off the land in this province. The other very important issue about BRICS is the increased security in those countries. And democracy is not practiced in China, in Russia, and even in India, where we've had lots of civil society people being oppressed and trampled over. We know Tiananmen Square is a grim reminder of how many people were killed in China because they stood up for their rights. We do not want a system that's going to bring about that in South Africa, where people have died and fought for this democracy. So government needs to go back to the drawing board and come and consult with the people of this country to find out how the people want to ensure that whether BRICS is beneficial or not. We are really concerned about the war in Ukraine, that innocent people have been killed, but also throughout the continent. Things have not changed for people, even though we've had these sub-imperialist countries like BRICS operating in those countries. We've seen big infrastructure projects develop, but people have lost their homes and have lost their commons. So our major concern here is to say that BRICS can never be operational from the top. It should have been discussed with the people in this country before a major event of this nature happens and takes place in this country.
And then, Mr. Desar, you also spoke about some of the world leaders being disingenuous. Speak to us about that.
Yes, the leaders that are young are disingenuous in the sense that in their very own countries, the minority groups are being oppressed and have been harassed and killed. We know that in India, a lot of the minority groups have been killed off and losing their lives and have been chased away. India still occupies a wide range of Kashmir up until now, and they're not free. The other very important thing, if we really believe in freedom for all, then it must be practiced by this indigenous leader, so that they have open democracy. We need open democracy in China. We need open democracy in Russia. We can have leaders for life, and then the people don't have the will of the people is ignored. So democracy and the BRICS go hand in hand. If they're talking about BRICS and it will work for the people, then they must have open democracy and allow the will of the people to prevail.
And then, Mr. Desar, Now, just speak to us about some of the people that have come here today. You've mentioned the Kashmir as well. I know that some people from that organization are here as well. And where we'll be marching to when we leave the spot now as the march is about to take place.
We're going to be marching on to the Indian consulate because it's the closest. But also, the big Indian company, Jindal, is well known for oppression in Mozambique and in India. And destruction, environmental destruction. They now want to move 3,000 people away from Myanmar. And people will lose their land, so people are here to voice up against that company. The second company is the United Phosphorus company that exploded. And black communities in Blackburn that are here were affected with all the pollution. The company refuses to sit down with black people and deal with their health problem. Yet they've spent a lot of money on tourism, to deal with tourism. So we are saying that the Indian consulate should start sitting down with communities. That's what we're calling for. A meeting with these companies and read them with the riot act of them violating the South African laws. And they should not be operating in a country where our laws are governing the entire country. And so we want the Indian consulate to intervene. They have the power to intervene, to allow them to come and talk to us. We're certainly not going to allow our people moved off the land once again because of mining interests of Jindal.
Thank you very much. That is Mr. Desmond DeSouth, who is an activist for the South Durban Community Environmental Alliance, just speaking to us about what their concerns are and also just letting us know where this march will be where we'll be going to. We will be marching from here in the Durban City Centre all the way up to the Indian consulate. Ollie?